Moving on, the Ethiopian info. Welcome back. You're watching Addis News Hour. The Israeli ambassador to Ethiopia, Raphael Morav, urges every society to stand against injustice, discrimination and violence. The ambassador's comments came at the embassy commemorated the victims of the Holocaust. Kafleya Sababa reports.
It is the biggest tragedy the world had ever encountered, the Holocaust, 6 million innocent people murdered by blind haters. 74 years after, victims of the Holocaust are remembered worldwide on this day. In commemoration service held here in Ethiopia, Israeli ambassador to Ethiopia urged people to stand against injustice, discrimination and violence.
The problem is many times the indifference of the majority. You have a violent minority who would act, and when the majority does not react, it's a signal for this violent minority that they can continue on. So therefore, what is very important, I think, is that each one of us, as an individual, as in the society, not to let these things happen. When we see an injustice, when we see a discrimination, when we see a violent act against someone else, to raise up, not to let that someone else do it. It's our duty as human beings to do so.
The ambassador appreciated Prime Minister Abiy's message of love and unity.
I think the message of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed is very right. Is first of all love. If we love each other and we don't hate, and then we don't become violent against other individuals, and to be united, because we are all human beings and we're all different in a way or in another. So we have to be tolerant, and we have to see what is common to all of us as a humanity.
Holocaust survivor criticized manipulation and incitement of some leaders to violence. He suggests people to listen to themselves and embrace humanity more than anything else.
What is your idea? What is your thinking? Not manipulation. And I think that one of the wrong things that happened in the world is people are manipulated by bad leaders. And not everyone is able to afford independent thinking.
Everyone should employ discussions, negotiations and reasoning over conflicts.
Maybe the solution is talking, negotiation, not fighting, not murdering, talking. We have a fantastic tool to live one with each other. We can talk. So why kill if we can talk? Not crying. Talk silently and try to convince others that you are right. And just keep good ideas. Good ideas, that means ideas that are good for the mankind.
Education and religious teachings are also indicated imperative, not to let such sad things happen.
Now, to give us further insights into the commemoration of victims of the Holocaust, we are joined on the phone by the Deputy Ambassador of Israel to Ethiopia, Or Danieli. Thank you indeed, sir, for being with us.
Thank you for calling me.
Let me ask you this question. How do you describe the celebration today here at the headquarters of the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa in Addis Ababa?
So, as you said, this morning we gathered together at the United Nations compound in Addis, around 500 people, diplomats, NGO workers, government officials, and more importantly, around 200 students from the German school, the Italian school, School of Tomorrow, and the Addis Ababa University. And together we mark this important day, the International Day in memory of the victims of the Holocaust. The thing that was special today is that we were honored by the presence of Mr. Shmuel Rothbard, which is a Holocaust survivor, Holocaust witness. Mr. Rothbard was a child in Poland during the Holocaust and personally experienced the dire times in history. So it was very powerful and moving to listen to his life story, because you know that usually when we think about historical events, we have in mind a distant story that happened a long time ago. And today we had the chance to learn about history, learn about Holocaust from a person who actually lived at that time, and stood in front of us and shared with us his life story. And it was very moving for all of us.
Yeah, maybe what does the day specifically mean to the Israeli people, to the Jewish community?
Well, to the Israeli people and the Jewish community, it is a very important and significant day. In Israel, we commemorate this day every year. Mm-hmm. And as I said, it's very significant for all Israelis. In this day, we suspend our daily routine. We stop to think about the 6 million individuals, 6 million people of our people, brothers and sisters, who lost their lives only because they were Jews. They lost their lives only because of hatred, anti-Semitism, and racism. So it is a very important day for Israel and for Israeli people, which we stop and think about these people and the lessons that we need to learn from these days.
Maybe finally, sir, how important is the day to be marked at a global level?
At the global level, this day is a very important day, and it was recognized also by the United Nations General Assembly in 2005. This day is very important for two reasons. The first one is that the Jewish Holocaust was a very significant and unprecedented event in history, so we must remember this event and remind ourselves what extremism and hatred can lead to. And we need to remember all the individuals that lost their lives in these times of history. And the second reason, which is important, which day makes it an important day for all the world, is the universal message that we have in this day, which is that we must together fight against hatred, extremism, racism. We must treat all individuals equally, regardless of their religious, national, or sexual characteristics. So I think this is the main message, the main universal message of this day.
Deputy Ambassador of Israel to Ethiopia, Or Danieli, thank you indeed for your perspective and have a nice night.
Thank you. Good evening.